Welcome to the audiobook version of Misunderstanding to Understanding by Vicky Martin Singh. In this series, you will learn how to recognize and overcome common communication barriers in relationships. This chapter, titled Understanding Communication Barriers, will provide insight into the challenges faced by couples and practical strategies to foster better communication. For those who wish to dive deeper, the ebook is available on Amazon. Check the link below. Let's begin Series 1, Understanding Communication Barriers. In the heart of a bustling city, lived Simran and Viraj, a couple who, like many, found themselves entangled in a web of misunderstandings. Despite their deep affection for each other, they struggled with effective communication. The cycle they experienced was all too familiar, bringing up an issue, arguing, becoming defensive, shutting down, and then repeating the same frustrating patterns. This chapter delves into their journey as they navigate the barriers that hinder their connection. Exploring defensiveness, avoidance, silent treatment, passive aggressiveness, and criticism. Simran often felt overlooked in their relationship, while Viraj grappled with feelings of inadequacy and frustration. Whenever Simran voiced her feelings, Viraj's immediate reaction was to defend himself, often leading to escalating conflicts. For instance, during a conversation about household responsibilities, Simran expressed her frustration over the uneven distribution of chores. Instead of discussing the issue openly, Viraj responded with, "I work hard all day, I don't have time for this." His defensiveness stifled meaningful dialogue and left Simran feeling unheard. Conversely, Simran had a tendency to avoid confrontation altogether. When small issues piled up, she would swallow her feelings until they erupted in frustration. One evening, after a long day at work, she exploded over a minor disagreement about dinner plans. This sudden outburst surprised Viraj, who had no idea that Simran had been feeling overwhelmed. When tensions rose, Viraj often resorted to the silent treatment. If Simran brought up a sensitive topic, Viraj would shut down, leaving her feeling isolated and unheard. This silence only deepened the emotional chasm between them, making it difficult for Simran to express her feelings. To cope with their frustrations, Simran would sometimes use passive-aggressive comments disguised as humor. For example, during dinner, she would say, "I guess I'm the only one who cares about cleaning up," trying to express her dissatisfaction with a light-hearted tone. Viraj, feeling the sting of her words, would retreat further into silence, causing them both to feel increasingly distant. As they explored these patterns, Simran and Viraj realized that these communication barriers were not insurmountable. They acknowledged that their habits stemmed from past experiences and unresolved feelings. Recognizing these behaviors was the first step toward transforming their relationship. Setting goals for change. With a clearer understanding of their communication barriers, Simran and Viraj set specific goals for their relationship. They agreed to practice active listening. Both partners committed to genuinely listening to each other without interruption, acknowledging feelings, and responding thoughtfully. "I promise to listen without getting defensive," Viraj said earnestly, "and I want you to feel safe expressing your feelings without fear of my reaction." They also agreed to express their feelings openly, without fear of judgment or retribution. Simran suggested using "I" statements instead of blaming each other. For instance, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," she practiced saying, "I feel overlooked when you don't acknowledge my thoughts." Creating a safe space for conversations was another goal. They decided to designate time each week to discuss issues openly, ensuring both partners felt safe and heard. "Let's make it a routine," Simran proposed. "No distractions, just us talking about what's on our minds. Practical strategies for effective communication. Equipped with their goals, Simran and Viraj began to implement practical strategies for effective communication. They practiced active listening by taking turns sharing their feelings without interruptions. During these discussions, they focused on understanding each other's perspectives rather than jumping to conclusions. To reinforce their commitment, they created a communication jar. Whenever they felt the urge to criticize or become defensive, they would write down their feelings and put them in the jar. This exercise allowed them to express their emotions without immediate conflict, providing a healthy outlet for their frustrations. Simran also introduced the idea of regular check-ins. Let's take a few minutes each evening to ask each other how we are feeling about our day and our relationship, she suggested. This practice not only fostered connection, but also allowed them to address small issues before they snowballed into larger conflicts. As they implemented these strategies, Simran and Viraj began to notice a positive shift in their communication. They felt more connected and understood, paving the way for a healthier relationship. In the following chapters, we will explore the journeys of other couples facing similar communication challenges and the strategies they implemented to rebuild their relationships. Together, we will uncover the insights and tools necessary to create deeper connections, transforming misunderstandings into understanding.